Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. Going to talk today about something that came up in a class I taught this morning. A great question, and it's concerning the difference between the finance condition and the appraisal condition, and one very subtle but important difference. And that is in 8.3b1 of the REPSI, so section 8.3b1. There's a blank in there where you can put money. So if you had, we've talked about this in other videos, but if you had, let's say $10,000 worth of earnest money, the buyer could, to make their offer look better, more attractive, or the seller could ask for it in a counter, could ask for some money to be put in there. So let's say there's $5,000 in 8.3b1. What does that mean? Well, it means if after due diligence, the buyer cancels, and let's say they put $5,000, the buyer cancels the contract based off of financing, then the seller would get $5,000 of the earnest money because that's what they put in that blank in 8.3b1. It's basically saying, hey, give me due diligence, give me until due diligence, and I get all my earnest money back if I cancel as the buyer. But if I cancel after that for financing reasons, then you will agree to give me the amount specified in, buyer will agree to give you the amount specified in 8.3b1. So whatever is in there will go back to the seller, and the rest goes back to the buyer. Okay, so how is that different? What does that have to do with the appraisal condition? Well, the financing appraisal deadline we lump in as one, right? But they're two completely different conditions, and they have different functionality. So if you have money in that blank in 8.3b1, but you cancel based off of a low appraisal, which, what does that say? It just says basically if you get a low appraisal, you can produce it and cancel the contract based off of the appraisal condition rather than the finance condition, and you get your earnest money back as the buyer. So just giving the buyer a right to cancel without any further authorization needed from the seller, and you get your earnest money back. The difference between the financing and appraisal is, first of all, appraisal, you have to have an event happen. It's not just simply in my sole discretion like the finance condition is. So you have to have that condition or that event happen. You get the low appraisal, and then you have to produce it. Finance, you don't. You can just cancel. But if you cancel based off of the appraisal condition, you do not forfeit the money that was indicated in 8.3b1. Why? Because that's contained within the finance condition. 8.3 is the finance condition of the REPSI. And then 8.2 is the appraisal condition. So that's only operative. That money is only in play if you cancel based on the finance condition. It's not ever mentioned in the appraisal condition. It has its own terms to it. So big difference, subtle difference, but it's an important one to note, especially if you are a seller and somebody does offer you that money in that blank, and then you turn around and give them also appraisal, the rights to appraisal conditions, so they can cancel and still get their earnest money back. So you want to pay attention to that deadline and understand how those two different conditions operate, and be aware as a seller and a buyer so that you can protect yourself either way. So hopefully that is helpful and clarifying. Remember, this is not legal advice, just legal information only. And thanks for tuning in.